Hey, my name's Ian Begley. You're watching the NBA Exchange with Dexter Henry.
What's up, everybody? Happy Friday. It's your boy Dexter Henry here with the NBA Exchange. Got a good one for you today because we're going to be talking, as I told you guys the other day, we're going to be talking about some LA basketball. We talked New York the other day. We're going to go out to the West Coast, talk LA. I'm really excited about my guest today because she was so kind enough. For her, it's early. She get up early. She decided to rock with me and come on here with me and talk about some LA basketball. And it is the one and only Jackie Ray. She does work for the Long Beach Post. She's extremely talented and great. Jackie, good morning to you. How you doing?
Good morning. I'm good. It's early, but you got me in a good routine. I got up and got half of my workout in before we got
Okay.
on. I know I want a gold star for that.
No, you got one for me. You got a gold star for me. And you know what? We were talking before we came on here, and I'm glad that you're out there in that LA sunshine and good weather, and I'm here in New York freezing my ass off. So I know you have a different vibe waking up early this morning. This morning I got up and I was like, ugh. Other than I was going to see you and talk to you about hoops. I was just kind of like, ugh, I don't know if I need to
I'm
do.
gonna tell you the same way I told my mom. Y'all don't have to live in that cold. You just
Yeah, that's true.
don't.
That's true. That's true. You know what I'm saying? And here's the thing. I like LA, and I love the weather. And you know what? I haven't been to San Diego yet. That's actually a place I actually visit that I haven't been to. That people always say the weather is good. I love New York. I'm born and raised in New York. I love the energy, everything here. But you know what? As somebody whose roots are from the Caribbean, yeah, I don't like this cold. The older I get, I don't like this cold. I just don't.
It's not good for our bones.
It's not good for
We
our.
as a people, it's not good for our bones.
Yeah, I need to, I need to do, I feel like the next Black History Month, I need to be doing my show elsewhere or something. I need to get someplace that's closer to our roots and the temperatures that, we are used to, Jackie. We can say that. I would like to let people know, Jackie and I, we connected. We were on a sports media for Black professionals panel a couple of months ago, and I met Jackie through there, and I just thought her work was so dope, and we stayed in touch. And so glad to have her here. Jackie, thank you for the time. I guess I want to kick this off to let people. I always do this anytime somebody new comes on the show, which is let the people know about yourself, right? Because sports journalism has such a very different journey for all of us, right? Just in getting to the places that we are. So, what was your sports journalism journey? I know we have some similarities and we've done a lot of things independently, but tell the people about your journey.
Yeah, so I'm from Denver, Colorado. If you know anything about Denver, Colorado, it's the Mile High City. People out there live and die by their sports. So that kind of just being born there is really what started my sports journey as far as being a sports journalist. However, I got my degree in communications, broadcast journalism specifically, but that was not my goal. My goal was to be a singer. That's how I ended up out here in LA. I moved out here with a band. We had some great success for about 7 years, but then it's still a struggle. So I was like, well, let me go back to my roots. But I was, like I said, 7 years out of college. So that was harder than it should have been. But what I found out here is LA is not a sports town. People like to say it is, but it's not. There's just too much to do here. So I started my own show. First one was called Ladies Corner, which is all about teaching women about football so they could stay out of my face when I was talking crap with their man. And I started there, and then I just started grinding, and then I ended up going back to intern at Torrance City Cable doing hard news, and I really loved hard news. I still love hard news. That's why I'm at the Long Beach Post, but there's always a level of sadness, a level of, I don't know, guilt sometimes I feel, because you are really shoving a mic in someone's face at the worst moment in their life 75% of the time. So I decided to do my independent grind, went back to doing my own thing on my YouTube channel, which led me to go overseas and be an anchor and news reporter for 2 years. Came back here, started working for The Fumble, then got the Long Beach Post and worked for Nightcast Media as a WNBA reporter. So it's been a kind of all over the place journey, but that's the quick, fast version of how I became a journalist.
It's a good journey. I think one thing you mentioned I actually didn't realize we had in common is we both have done hard news and sports, and I've done it at the same time. And I think people don't realize how hard it is. Like you said, it takes a toll on you. I think journalists realize it, but how much it takes a toll on you in terms of putting a mic in front of somebody's face, especially when there's disaster or it's bad. It's just like it's draining. It's definitely a lot. but your journey has been a beautiful one. And then I learned something else about you before we started the show. You are a huge LeBron James fan, which I
Yes.
didn't know, which in leading into the show and talking about it, we can't talk about LA basketball, which we're going to do today, without talking about LeBron right now. LeBron is 63 points away from the all-time scoring record. So as a LeBron fan and watching this, are you, it's a two-part question, right? One, how amazed are you, because I am, with what he's been able to do at this age and the numbers he's putting up this season? And what do you think it means for him in his stature and the greatest among the game to break this record?
I think for those of us who are, we dwell in the kingdom, as I like to say, we are part of the kingdom of King James. I think we all knew that this was coming. I think for me, what I'm more surprised about, when you know that this man spends $1 million a year to take care of himself, to take care of his health, his basketball IQ, I don't think that I want to say I am surprised that this is happening. I'm not surprised that he is playing at this level because he likes to prove people wrong. And that's just kind of his MO. I think I'm more surprised at how underwhelmed a lot of people seem to be outside of sports journalism and sportscasters. Like the fans just don't understand that they're seeing a legacy, once in a lifetime player. I think I'm more surprised about that. But trust me, the NBA knows it, because when the game where he is going to surpass Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, some of those tickets are going for $19,000. Nosebleed seats are $350 right now. So trust me, the NBA knows that, and they're going to capitalize on that. But I'm very proud of LeBron. I think when his goal is to play with Bronny and to be on that floor, I think he's going to continue to elevate, to show people that he and Father Time are definitely in a battle, and he is going to win it until he can play with his son. I think that's the mindset that he has, and I think we're definitely seeing that. On top of that, he's not used to having to put a team on his back. So he's doing his best, but it's hard. It's hard.
Look, that man has been doing all he can, right? Like this is not necessarily you can criticize LeBron for maybe his hand in some of the GM moves here and other things here, but I think in terms of how he's played, it's been absolutely amazing. You also made another point I think there was really interesting, is that you feel like a lot of people are not probably giving him the reverence that he should for this, which I tend to agree with you, right? Like this is an amazing feat, Jackie. I don't have to tell you this as a LeBron fan and testament. I'm glad you brought up how he takes care of his body. That is absolutely spot on with that, right? It's amazing the amount of money he puts in. And now you're seeing how that's paid off. Year 38 of his life. And
year 20 in the league.
Year 20 in the league, right? He's putting up 30 points some nights, 40 points some nights when he had to, when AD wasn't there. He put up a triple-double on my Knicks the other night, okay?
Yes.
That's Garden. Right, I didn't need to see that, but like I was doing something for the New York Post, and I was saying, like, look, you have to marvel at what this guy has done and what we've been able to witness. Do you think people are fatigued of LeBron James? Because I'm starting to see this thing where people are getting fatigued. The athletes, we're seeing this with Patrick Mahomes in the NFL. It's bothering me, although I think there's a lot of other reasons there why. Do you think people are tired of LeBron James or taking his greatness for granted? Like, do you think that's happening?
I definitely think so. I remember when Tom Brady was with the Patriots, and it was like, I'm tired of seeing Tom Brady in the Super Bowl. How are you going to be tired to see somebody do a feat that most of us can't do? That is a weird haterism that I don't have. I mean, Tampa Tom, I like much better. I'm kind of disappointed that he retired, but you gotta appreciate greatness when you see greatness. And the funny thing is, we saw something similar with Kobe. Half of the people who love Kobe now realized once he was out of the league how much they actually loved to hate on him. So they missed hating on him when he was gone. And it's like, give this man his flowers now, because this is something we are never going to see again. These once in a lifetime players, we're never going to see another MJ, which he is not the GOAT to me, but that's a story for another day. We're never going to see another MJ. We're never going to see another Kobe. We are never going to see another LeBron. And we've got to see that. Some of us, all three of these players in our lifetime, some of y'all have only seen LeBron. Some of y'all have only seen Kobe. But you got to appreciate this, because I'm telling you, it's a beautiful thing to watch. It's beautiful to see a 38-year-old man go on and dunk on fools like he just got in the league. It's crazy. It's crazy to see.
It's crazy to see. Okay, you and I are going to have, not that I'm really strong on either side, but you and I are going to have that. We'll have to bring you in another panel discussion about LeBron and MJ and all that. Although I think it's a conversation that's been exhausted, I definitely want to get your take on it. As a LeBron fan that you are, I definitely want to hear your take on that. To the Lakers, right? Because a lot of talk around the Lakers are going to be about what they can do with the trade deadline coming up next week. The
Mhm.
Lakers already made a
Mhm.
trade. They sort of got things started getting Rui Hachimura. Did you like that move for the Lake Show? Did you think it was a good one in the Lakers giving up Kendrick Nunn and 3 second-round picks to the Wizards for Rui Hachimura? Was that a good move for the Lakers?
I mean, I think it was a move that they had to make. Kendrick wasn't doing anything. So, you just had to make a move. I think Rui is great. I think he's stepping up. He's putting those points on the board. I think he's got a high ceiling. So I think this is a future pickup. I don't really think you're looking for him to impact the situation now. You're looking for him to impact the game in the future. But they still need an outside shooter. And I think, and this is just my opinion, I know people argue about this with me all the time, but I think there's a bigger problem than just getting an outside shooter. There is a chemistry problem. There is a lack of accountability problem, and that's amongst the players. And I just don't see Coach Ham stepping up and getting in people's behind the way that they should. Because if he did, what we wouldn't see is Pat Bev going out onto the floor with a camera in his hand to talk to the ref. We just wouldn't see that. And as much as I love LeBron, I don't think he's above criticism, because in that same game with that foul, that yes, it went into overtime. Yes, he could have won it in that moment, but there was a level of play in overtime that we just didn't see from him. That was definitely a winnable game. And when Westbrook struggles to hit the outside of a barn sometime, I just don't think that you dish the ball to him late in overtime for him to shoot a wide open three that he's going to miss. So and I know that that's a level of, let's try to bring Russell in, let's try to make him feel more confident. That's something that he got to work on off the court, because it's not happening on the court. And then you got to think, Coach Ham didn't even play him the whole third quarter. Why are we dishing this man the ball right now? There's a level of lack of chemistry, a lack of accountability. I don't think that, and one of my least favorite moments is when they went on that 5-game win streak. Coach Ham is saying, stay aggressive. LeBron says, let's get greedy. Russell says, let's just have fun. When losing is not fun. There is a lack of understanding of what the goal is amongst the Lakers players, and that is a bigger problem than anything a trade can fix.
And so that's funny, because that'll set us up into the next thing we're talking about. And I think it's interesting that I think it's a really astute point, right? That it's not, people think sometimes, I think with things with trades, Jackie, that it's just, you can move this person, move that person, and that solves everything. And you're saying that, the people matter here, right? Like the chemistry matters here, the coaching matters here, to which I agree. I think people sometimes miss that. So with that being said, the Lakers made one trade in Rui Hachimura, which I agree. I think it was a nice move for the future. It gives them some youth. The Lakers don't have a lot of assets in that way, other than the 2027 and 2029 first-round picks. Should they make another move before the deadline? Is there another move here to be made? And does that move include moving Russell Westbrook? Because we saw Chris Haynes report this morning that the Lakers have been talking to the Utah Jazz possibly about moving him. Does this move include moving Russell Westbrook? Is that something you'd like to see, or is there another move you'd like to see the Lakers make?
I mean, that Russell trade is going to be difficult just because of how much money's on the table with that. I'm just going to go ahead and say it right now. The one thing Russell is absolutely right about is Patrick Beverley got y'all fooled. That man is not an asset. And so if we can move on from him, I think we move on from him. Russell still has the work ethic. I still don't know what's going on with him here in LA, outside of maybe he just exposed himself because he's used to having the offense run through him, and he's not used to being more of a role player. I think if he really commits to being a role player in his mind, then the play will follow. But Patrick Beverley is just a wasted piece, and he should go. I'm so sorry.
No, it's fine. I love it. I forgot about Westbrook saying that he's got everybody fooled.
Yeah.
I'm not necessarily sure what the move the Lakers could make. I'm not sure what that move could be. You've been hearing Zach LaVine. I'll throw you a trade, Jackie. Somebody said they could give up Westbrook, the 2 picks, the 2027 and the 2029 for Zach LaVine from Chicago. Would you do that deal? The fact you're thinking about it tells me looks like no. The fact yeah.
I mean, for me, and this is for me, if I'm making a trade for, again, and this is a legacy player, I understand that he hasn't stepped up to the level that we'd like him to. But if I'm going to make a trade for a legacy player, that has to mean that I'm seeing an immediate impact for the person that's coming in. I'm seeing all of a sudden we're not 25th. Now we're at least in contention for the play-in, because the Lakers they're not a solid enough team to survive a play-in. So if I'm going to make that kind of trade, I need to trade for somebody that's going to have me continually, immediately start moving up in the ranks. And again, I don't think that that's going to happen when you don't address the accountability and the chemistry issues. So I'm not sure that I would make that trade. I would trade Patrick Beverley maybe for Kelly Oubre or, something like that, just to get that different look. But I don't know if I would trade right now again. And I get why people want Russ gone. He's not doing but then again, if you really look at the way LeBron plays and the way the AD plays, you had to kind of know he wasn't going to fit. So again, that's probably a GM problem, but I just don't know if I would make that trade right now, unless it was going to be somebody who immediately impacted the game.
I don't disagree with you on that. And I don't think that someone like Zach LaVine necessarily does that as much as I think he's a good player. I also think to the Lakers, if you just let Russ play out his contract, you'll have $45 million in cap space. That might be your biggest asset. You'll still have your 2 picks. Maybe this is the way to go. I know that's not satisfying for Lakers fans, which brings me to the next question, because if you look at this roster, and I kind of feel like I know what your answer might be to this, but it's like, can the Lakers make the playoffs? Because you're saying that, look, you think this is more of a organizational coaching and accountability issue, Jackie. If that is the case, with the great LeBron James out there, can this team make the playoffs? Do you see them as a playoff team? Because the West is jumbled, and they're not that far out of 4th. They're really not.
Exactly.
It's not that crazy that they could get into the top 6. Do you see this team making the playoffs?
So it's almost exactly what you said. Like the Timberwolves right now have the number 6 spot. I think they're 28-6, and the Lakers are 25-28. So it's like you said, it's not that far apart. This is the thing, though. Like, if they can get that number 6 spot, now we're talking about a different situation. I don't believe, because if you're in the play-in, what you have to know is that it's exactly that. It's a play-in. Teams are playing for their lives. So you can't give up. You can't get that foul and then give up on the game because that specific moment in that game did not go the way you wanted it to go. And I don't see this team really persevering through adversities that they would face in the play-in. So I think if they really want a playoff run, they have to hold that number 6 spot to make sure they don't have to go through the play-in. Because at this point, if AD sneezes too hard, his back might go out, and you just don't have the personnel to replace him. So you need to make sure you're in that number 6 spot, because I just don't think this team survives the play-in.
Yeah, I would agree with that. They can't survive the play-in. They need to get in. Do you think if they make the playoffs, they're a team that can make noise in the playoffs, or are we going too far there?
I think you're going too far there. Because and again, I want LeBron to succeed in everything he does, but I think that you got to take a step back. And when you look at this team, like literally look at this team, look at how they interact, look at how, and LeBron, he's King James, he is the leader of that team. Sometimes I feel like he doesn't really want that, because it's taking a toll. And I understand it. You going out there scoring 48 points and y'all losing by 8, or 18 or something. I understand that takes a toll on your body, but you still have to level up, because you still have to be the glue that brings everybody together, and everybody has to follow your example. So if you need to be showing up the first one at practice, the last one to leave. You need to be playing every minute of every single game, because everybody else is going to follow you. And Coach Ham needs to cultivate that. If LeBron doesn't want to do it naturally, you need to put your foot in his behind and make him do it. And I think that's one of the things that the areas LeBron has always struggled in, is he hasn't had coaches outside of Ty Lue, which is probably why they should have picked him up, but that's a whole nother story. He really hasn't had coaches that have really put their foot in his behind. And I think we're seeing that. He really needs to take responsibility and demand a level of greatness from these players that we just haven't seen yet.
Yeah, we have not seen that yet. And hopefully we'll see what happens to Lakers. I think they're one of the more interesting teams coming to the deadline. Let's talk about the other team in LA. Yes, there is another team in LA. It's kind of like here in New York, where we talk about the Knicks and the Nets can get forgotten unless there's drama. The Clippers. When I look at the Clippers, Jackie, I loved when they got Kawhi and PG together, but it hasn't materialized in the way we thought it would. There's a lot of load management going on with the team, all this stuff. Isn't it time we saw this team put it together? Like, I'm tired of hearing about what they could be great at the wing. Isn't it time we saw them actually do something other than the one run they had without Kawhi with Paul George a couple years ago to get to the Western Conference Finals? What do you think about this Clippers team? Like, Are you bored? Are you kind of still waiting? Like, what's the deal with this Clippers team?
If I'm being honest, I don't think about the Clippers. I'm just going to be 100% honest. I'm being honest.
Oh,
I
man.
just don't. I don't think about the Clippers. And fun fact, I am not the only one because I go to the Yard
sure
House
you're
a
not.
lot. And the Yard House is right by Crypto, which we still call Staples, most of us, but it's still by Crypto. And I've gone there on nights when the Clippers are playing just to kind of gauge the fandom and see what's going on. And I have walked in and not had to wait and just walk straight in and pick whatever seat I want. When I go and the Lakers are playing, I have to get there super early. Otherwise, I'm looking at probably a half hour to an hour wait. We don't really think about the Clippers out here in LA. And you know what? Not to throw shade, but it's their own fault. Because when Kawhi and Paul George came here, they have billboards all over the city talking about this is their city. It's not. And it never will be. And so I think that it could work. And I hate to be a repeating record. Yes, this could work. Yes, there was a side of me that once we thought, okay, Kawhi and Paul George are both healthy. Now they're coming back. I was like, oh, they're going to take all our shine away. It's sometimes things look good on paper, but they aren't good in reality. And I think that's what we're seeing with the Clippers. I just don't think. I mean, last night was a great example. Kawhi had this moment in time where he could have really won the game, stepped up in a big way, and didn't connect on 6 shots. So it could work, but it doesn't. And we don't care. We just don't care.
Yeah, it's trust me, I understand because it's the same thing here in New York. And listen, I'm a grew up a Knicks fan. I'm a Brooklyn guy. I'm from Brooklyn. Still live in Brooklyn. But man, people don't care about the Nets here. Nets fans.
Like, the Clippers.
They'll be salty about it. It's the same thing. I could go to Barclays if the Knicks are playing. You know how it is. It's the same thing. It's at Staples. I'm gonna call it Staples because I don't like calling it Crypto.
Me either.
You know the same. You go to Barclays. Knicks are playing the Nets, and it feels like it's Madison Square Garden in there. You know what I'm saying? It just happens to be in Brooklyn. That's all. I agree with you. The point you made there, I think, is like, look, things sometimes look good on paper. The Clippers feel like they've been the paper champions for 2-3 years. This year, a lot of people have them as favorites to go to the finals, and we'll get to that a bit later. But do you think let's try to care about the Clips a little bit here, Jackie? Let's try, okay?
I'm gonna do my best.
I know it's a struggle. You said you don't think about them. You're not walking into the building for a game other than see the vibes with the fans. And I know they're moving out to Inglewood soon, so hopefully that's better for them that they'll have their own building. But do the Clips need to upgrade their roster with a trade? Like, is there something you look at this team that something's missing? They need to do something here. I feel like point guard's the answer. We'll get to that in a bit. But do you think they need to make a tweak to the roster?
So no, because again, on paper, I think this roster can work. I know people get mad at load management, but I think that load management is very important, especially when you're talking about players that have suffered from injuries or players who are later in their careers. It's very important because you want them to be healthy down the stretch later in the season and definitely going into the playoffs. And I think, myself included, sometimes we forget the Clippers are holding the number 4 spot with all the struggles we just listed. So they definitely have the capability of going and making this run. I think it's just, I've heard people say, when they talked about the kicker for the Cowboys who kept missing it, they said he's got the yips. I mean, sometimes they get in their head and that becomes the problem. You're constantly thinking about the way you failed in the past, the expectation on you, and that impacts your level of play. I think they just need to go back to that kind of cockiness they had when they first had Kawhi and Paul George come, and they need to build on that. But I think there's something going on more mentally with this team than there is physically. Don't hate on the load management, because half of us would load manage on our regular jobs and we ain't doing as much as these men are doing on the floor. So don't hate on the load management. I think it's a necessity. And they're holding the number 4 spot. I think they could easily keep that momentum, pull together as a team, and they can make it happen. But it's later in the stretch where they fail. And I just don't think a trade is going to prevent that. Because if Kawhi can't prevent them from losing later in the stretch, who can? Who can?
It sounds to me like you're saying something I used to say, which is Clippers are going to clip. You know what I mean? Clippers are going to clip. It's just inevitable. Like, Clippers are going to clip. We understand what this is. There's been a lot of talk though in terms of a trade. There's been talk about upgrading at the point guard. Jackson hasn't been it. Reggie Jackson hasn't been it. John
Yeah.
Wall's nice as a backup. There's some options. There's some names out there, right? You got D'Angelo Russell, Kyle Lowry, Fred VanVleet, or Mike Conley. Do either of these guys, any of these guys, I should say, do you like them as options for the Clippers to trade for to be their starting point guard?
I mean, I'm never going to sleep on Kyle Lowry. I just think that he's going to come in with a level of intensity. That man is just, I'm sure he's at the point now where he's tired of the disbelief. So sometimes that change of scenery, especially in a situation where you're coming onto a team that is a little brother and you trying to prove that they're not, I'm just never going to sleep on that. D'Angelo Russell coming back to LA, that might be a move. But if I had to pick, I would definitely go Kyle Lowry because he's got that kind of mental toughness. And the thing is Kawhi, he's never going to be the leader of the team, especially not vocally. So you might need somebody who can come in and step in and take over that role. And that might be a good look. I would probably lean towards Kyle Lowry.
Okay, I like that. And obviously they won a championship together with the Raptors in 2019. So he knows about that veteran leadership. And he probably will cost less a little bit in terms of what they might have to give up because he's older. Should we still consider the Clippers title contenders? I know we don't care, but should we consider them title contenders? Because the beginning of this year, like I said, Jackie, everybody was saying, oh, Clippers can go. I like Clippers and Bucks. That was a very trendy pick for a lot of people. The Clippers to win the West. Should we still look at them that way? Or they still got or the way you're shaking your head, you're looking at it like, Dex, I was never looking at them that way. So.
I wasn't, but I'm trying. But see, here's the thing. I'm not personally, and I don't know anybody who is. But I think the Clippers need to start feeding on that. They need to use that as their momentum to prove everybody wrong. Because for the last couple of years, they've been feeding on, we are the expectation. There's this expectation that we should not only make a deep run, we should probably be in the finals. So they need to start feeding on the level of doubt and start working towards proving everybody wrong instead of just looking at their roster and expecting them to be something that's going to prevent them from being Clips gonna clip. So I think they need to start feeding on that. Do I expect it? Absolutely not. But should they feed on it? Yes.
Well, that's one thing. Can they do it? It's about getting it done. Okay. Last thing I got for you, Jackie. This is the question. I feel like everybody's been watching the show. It's like, oh, the answer to this is obvious. Lakers or Clippers? Who's the best team in LA right now with the best shot to make the deepest run in the postseason? Who are we going with? We know who the people care about. We haven't got to lie about that. But who's the best team in LA?
I mean, the Lakers are the best team in LA. The Lakers could be 0-28 right now, and they'd still be the best team in LA. Just because the fan base is just still gonna support them regardless. So they still the best team in LA. Like I said, it just really depends on where the Lakers land. If they can land at that number 6 spot at minimum, I would prefer number 4 to be safe. They have the best chance of going deep in the playoffs. If they do the play-in, they have 0 chance. The Clippers, if they get that number 4 or number 6 spot, they're sitting at number 4 right now. It's a 50-50 chance. I don't know. But if the Lakers get there, they will then they'll come together as a team. And some of the things that I've been talking about aren't going to impact the team as much. And playoff LeBron is always different. So I think if they make it deep, they have a better chance. I don't know about the Clippers. I don't think the Clippers know about the Clippers. So we just have to see.
Yo, you are the Clippers fan that is listening to this or watching this. They might not be happy with you, but they know. But here's the thing: they know nobody cares about them. They know this. I believe they know this. But they're going to be mad because, they got the little brother complex. So I kind of get it. That is Jackie Ray, folks. Please check out her work with the Long Beach Post. Jackie, please tell the people where they can find you, where they can see your other work. Let them know about all that.
Yes, you can follow me on all things social media at Jackie Ray TV. Yes, again, I work for the Long Beach Post. If you are a Black person in Long Beach and you have a story, please reach out because I cover all things in the Black community with pride and joy. And yeah, don't forget to follow me because the WNBA season is coming up. It's already got a lot of drama, so you're not going to want to miss any of the coverage on that.
Yeah, I'm so excited for that. And it reminds me, Jackie, I'm going to have to hit you up to hop on for some WNBA talk with me on the New York Post. I have to do that because I've been doing so much more of that lately and been looking for more women. It's funny, like women of color that we can highlight that are doing such great work in journalism. And I wanted to highlight you specifically for Black History Month and what you're doing. This now. I'm going to give you your flowers right now because like you said with LeBron, we don't have to wait. Jackie's doing great work. We have a lot of great sisters out there doing work that need to be highlighted and pushed more to the forefront. So, Jackie, thank you. We appreciate you. You can continue to do great work for our community, and I got to have you back on the show again. You definitely got to come back and talk some Lakers basketball or Clippers. Maybe we'll be talking about the Clippers in the postseason.
I
don't know,
wouldn't mind. I would be pleasantly surprised, but I'm like, what?
You're gonna be like, what? I didn't believe this happened. Listen, you know what would be best? I hope that in a couple of months, you're back on and we're talking about what the LA teams can do in the playoffs, because they're both going to the playoffs, and we can talk about that. But I have a feeling, guys, that the next time Jackie and I talk, we're probably going to talk a lot more about the Lakers than we do about the Clippers, because that's how Jackie would have it. Jackie, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
I will see you again soon. Enjoy the rest of your day. And yes, I'm jealous of you in that LA great weather that you're probably enjoying right now. After this, I'm going to have to go freeze my ass off outside in these New York streets. But
well, bundle up.
I will, Jackie. Thank you. That is Jackie Ray. Check out her work, please. She will be back on the show. We will definitely have her again. We're going to take a quick break. When I come back real quick, before I get out into this cold, I'm going to give you guys my best NBA bets for Friday night. Stay tuned to the NBA Exchange. Are you looking for a better way to play player props or daily fantasy sports? Well, look no further than Prize Picks. Prize Picks is the leading over-under daily fantasy game. Why? Because it's so easy to use and win. You can make your picks in under 30 seconds and win up to 10 times your money in one day. Right now, we have a special offer for our viewers and listeners of the NBA Exchange. All you got to do is sign up now and use the promo code NBAEX. Prize Picks will match your first deposit up to $100. Yep, that's right. They'll match your first deposit up to $100. So, join the over 150,000 others who found a better way to play and download the Prize Picks app today. Yo, y'all might think I'm joking about this weather right now, but I am not. It is 25 degrees in New York right now, just after midday. Okay, it's 25 degrees. You're like, oh, Dex, that's not crazy. I used to dabble in the weather reporting for a while. The real feel, it feels like one. It feels like one. And it is noon, which means it is only going to get worse with a little bit of sunlight that we have left in the day. It's going to be pretty miserable. And I have to go back outside in about half an hour. And I don't want to go outside at all whatsoever. I'm so jealous of Jackie Ray. Shout out to Jackie Ray. She was great as a guest to come on. We can't wait to have her back here on the NBA Exchange. Before I jump out into the cold, we're going to talk about some betting, best bets for tonight. Had a little bit of a rough night when Gerard and I picked the bets the other day, but hopefully it is a bit better this week. Today, I should say, we're hoping as we end this week, I think we can get it to be a little bit better here. Got 3 games for you as usual. First game, got Sacramento Kings versus the Indiana Pacers. Now, Indiana Pacers, tough loss. They blew a lead to the Lakers at home last night. Well, LeBron James took over, did what he did. We saw how that went. And the Kings, I've been telling you guys, they had a 3-game skid. They bounced back now, wins over Minnesota, picked up another win the other night. Now they've won 2 in a row. They're taking care of business, which is what I like. I like where the Kings are right now, really taking care of business. I like them to do this again today on the road. Indiana's on a back-to-back. I know they were home. Sacramento's had the day off. I think they come in and Sacramento's looking like this, like they have to take care of business. I think they were able to. This is a very comfortable line for me. I think Sacramento can win this game by at least 6 or 7 points. I like them to close. I think this is a team that's going to be trying to play very strongly and well as they get towards the All-Star break. They are trying to hold off a team that we talked about, 2 teams, I should say, the Clippers and the Mavericks. So you have a 2.5-game lead over those 2 teams for third right now, and they're going to be very focused. 2 in a row for the Kings, 7-3 in their last 10. I like them here in this spot against a Indiana team, that is lost 4 in a row, and they've lost 9 out of their last 10. Yes, they have Halliburton back. That should play. Now, one thing I will keep note on in terms of player props in this game is definitely look at Tyrese Halliburton and what he can do. Anything over points and assists, maybe combined points, rebounds, assists, I would definitely look at that. That's going to be in the low 30s. I would definitely jump on that today. Why? He's playing against his former team. I always love guys at home playing against their former team, revenge games. He wants to show out. Halliburton looked good last night. The Pacers are a better team when he is on the floor. he matters that much. I expect this game to be competitive. Although I like the Kings to win, I think Indiana plays well. I think Halliburton plays well. Look at him in terms of a player prop. Also, keep your eye on Keegan Murray. This one as well. He's another player I told you I've really been liking in terms of points and rebounds, or points and assists, or points, rebounds, and assists. Anything around 17.5, 18.5 combined with there, I would look at that. Next up, my second game, I got the Toronto Raptors versus the Houston Rockets. Now, the Raptors, they, to me, arguably one of the most interesting teams. Hoping to get a guest on Monday to talk about them before this trade deadline. Will they have a fire sale? Will they sell everybody? And this is what makes them a tough team to bet in a way, because you don't know how motivated everybody is, or are they banding together and trying to play hard to make sure that they don't get traded so the team still sticks together. And I wonder that, but they're on a 5-game road trip right now. They've got the Rockets here. They are a much better team than the Rockets. And that's the thing for the Raptors right now. Their record has not been good. They're below 500. They're close to having the 5th best odds to win the lottery here right now, but they're not really bad enough to be in those bottom 4 teams, which Houston is. And I do think there's a talent gap, and that's reflected here in the line. We see the Raptors favored by 8. Rockets plus 270 on the money line. The over-under here is 225. Look, I like the Raptors on this road trip to band together with this team and pick up a big win. I think they win by more than 8. I think they're able to stop the Rockets. I think they're a better team than the Rockets, more talented. And I think they get the win here. I like it. I would probably play this down a little bit. If I could get this down to 6.5, I'd feel a little bit more comfortable. Take an alternate spread. You might have a little bit more juice there, but I'd take it down to about 6.5 and bet that there than like 8. 8's a little bit too close to double digits. Not sure I trust the Raptors that much, but if you can get this line at 6.5, I would jump all over the Raptors on this one. And my final game of the night is an interesting team, the Philadelphia 76ers, who've been playing some of the best ball over the last 25, 26 games, leading the NBA in offensive rating. They are down in Alamo City, take on the Spurs. They're 10-point favorites. The Sixers are. Spurs plus 380 on the money line. The over-under here is 233.5. Now, the other day, I believe this was Monday. It was Monday. I told you guys, didn't trust the Sixers coming off the big win over the Nuggets on the weekend. They were playing the Magic. They were big favorites. I didn't like it. I said, take the Magic in the points. They did it. The next night, they played the Magic again in a back-to-back for the series, and they killed the Magic. I think the Sixers are looking again. They do not want to let down. I love them to win this game. Do I love them to win by 11 or more? The answer is no. Don't trust a lot of double-digit spreads. Here in the NBA, I generally tend to stay away from them. However, do I see the Sixers getting out to a big lead here? Yes. Do I see them maybe getting themselves some separation in the first half? Sure. If you can find a line around 5 or 6 for the first half, I like that better of what they can do over the first 30 minutes. Or another bet that I really like is I can see the Sixers putting this game away in the third quarter or giving themselves some separation. So look in the third quarter. Can you get 4 or 5 points there as the line for the Sixers to cover with the third? They usually can do that against bad teams. I like upper echelon teams usually in a bet against bottom 5 teams. I love that. But you sometimes don't want to play when it's a double-digit spread. So if you don't like that, look at the half betting. Look at the quarter betting. Maybe a quarter where you think they can have an advantage. Sometimes the second and third quarters are really good for that. I think those are good plays to do. If you like the first half, I would say rock with the Sixers there, which is what I would do. Anything around 5 or 6 points for them to cover. If you like a certain quarter that you think they can do, I look at the Sixers third quarter to defeat the Spurs in that one, where they could think they can pull away from this game. And I think that might be the good bet. I'd stay away from the over-under here. Not too many props I absolutely love in this game. Maybe I'll look at Tyrese Maxey over 2 threes coming off the bench. I think that's good. This could be a blowout, but I don't know. Trust the Sixers because they play down to the competition sometime, but they should win this game. I just would be careful on how I bet it, whether it's half or quarter. That would be the play that I would go with. Fantastic week of NBA basketball. We also saw the All-Star reserves announced last night. I didn't have much as a problem with them as some people did. I think there's an argument in the East. Jalen Brunson could have made it over DeMar DeRozan. I think that could have been fair. I'm not trying to be biased as a Knicks fan. In terms of the Western Conference, didn't really have a problem with Anthony Davis not making it. Some people are mad about Triple J, Gerard's boy, making it. I didn't have a big problem with that over Devin Booker. He's played more games. He's a Defensive Player of the Year candidate. He's the second best player or third best player. If you are probably say second best player because of most games on the Memphis Grizzlies, who have the second best record in the Western Conference. I didn't have a big problem with it at all whatsoever. I think too much is made about the All-Star game and who gets picked and who's not. I really do. I think all NBA matters so much. Do I think the roster should be expanded to 15? Yes, I absolutely do think so. I think the NBA has been archaic on that, keeping it at 12. But it is what it is. Every year somebody's going to be salty or mad that somebody gets snubbed. I've heard talks of James Harden, I think, was somebody who I thought could also made it over DeMar DeRozan. I think that would have been fair as well, too. But, I don't really have too many gripes with the All-Star game, nor do I really care that much, to be honest. Nice to see Julius Randle for the Knicks getting another nod as an All-Star. We'll see. But, I think people make too much of this stuff, and it doesn't really matter that much at all whatsoever. Trae Young did not deserve it to make an All-Star team. If my criticism, it would be DeMar DeRozan. Tina's losing record. He's been fantastic. Team is losing record. You can say the same for Tyrese Halliburton, but I think Tyrese Halliburton deserved it because he's the real MVP of that team. He's been leading the league in assists. His numbers are off the charts. So I didn't have a problem with that. I think there's some exceptions when you're on a losing team where it's worth it. Didn't necessarily. I saw it for Halliburton. Didn't necessarily see it for DeRozan, but we will see. Lots to talk about. Next week's going to be really interesting because we got the trade deadline on Thursday. That'll be fascinating to see what teams do. More rumors are going to be coming out. You're going to hear more stuff about disgruntled players over the next couple of days. Hoping to have a guest for you on Monday to talk Raptors, maybe Sixers. Looking at a couple guests that we could bring in next week. We'll have Gerard next week to talk some NBA with nuance right before the trade deadline. And then after next Friday, we'll do some sort of post-trade deadline recap, looking at what were the best moves, what were the moves that we thought weren't good. We got to grade this stuff. We always got to do that from time to time. Great show today. If you missed it, you know where you can watch it, follow, hit the like button, hit the Backpack Broadcasting subscribe button. Go give Jackie Ray a huge follow. She's doing great work out there. And I'm so glad we were able to have her on and finally connect and have her as a guest. Please follow her. Also, please support us in any way that you can. Subscribe, like, share, do whatever you do. Subscribe to Patreon. Do the whole 9 there. I'm Dexter Henry. Everybody have a great weekend. If you're in the Northeast, bundle up, stay warm, protect your neck, do all that. Next week, as I said, we'll be back with some more great shows. Enjoy the basketball this weekend. LeBron James is closing in on the all-time scoring record. A lot to look forward to. All-Star games coming up. Second half of the season. Unofficial second half of the season also coming up. Just so much to look forward to. We'll be back. We'll have you all covered on it on the NBA Exchange. I'm Dexter Henry. As I said, enjoy the basketball. Be safe. Until next time, y'all. Peace.